Hey everyone, Mike here from Spiral Combat. Today's video is special because we're talking about something bigger than one fighter or one fight or one breakdown. We're talking about the future of the entire sport because whether you realize it or not, MMA is about to go through the biggest shift since the birth of the UFC. Bigger than jiu-jitsu entering the scene, bigger than those evolution of cross-training, bigger than the shift to wrestling heavy pressure, even bigger than the rise of fight analytics. We are entering the age of AI, of martial arts. Not in some sci-fi robots replacing fighters way, but in a we finally understand what's happening way. For the first time in history, we're able to measure what used to be invisible. Movement patterns, timing changes, space control, torque efficiency, pressure dynamics, cage geometry. All the things that actually decide fights. And I want to show you what that means for fighters, for coaches, for analysts, for fans, and for the entire sport. This is the start of a movement. This is Spiral Combat. All right, so let's talk about why MMA is about to change forever. We'll start with something simple. Most fans think MMA evolves when a new style shows up. Like when jiu-jitsu entered the UFC, or when wrestlers took over, or when the sport shifted towards well-rounded generalists. But that's not the real story. The real shift happens when a new way of understanding fighting enters the game. Jiu-jitsu wasn't just moves. It was a framework, a new way of thinking about leverage, position, and control. MMA is about to go through the same type of upgrade, but this time, it's not a martial arts style. It's a cognitive shift, a data shift, a geometry shift, an AI shift. Up until now, the sport relied on intuition, instincts, trial and error, opinions, feel, personal preference, experience, vibes, and whatever is going on in the gym. But none of those measure the truth. They just measure perception. For the first time ever, through AI and geometry, we can finally measure the actual mechanisms behind fighting. We can measure who controls space, who breaks rhythm, who adapts faster, who rotates efficiently, who gets stuck in linear patterns, who collapses under pressure, who creates asymmetrical chaos, and who has the real geometry advantage. Before AI, this was impossible. Now, it's unavoidable. And once the truth becomes visible, everything changes. This might sound strange, but hear me out. Fighting is ultimately a data problem. Not in terms of spreadsheets or numbers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sensory data, movement data, reaction data, pressure data, all of the micro signals happening in a fight that no human eye can track in real time. I want you to think about it. How many exchanges happen in a 3-round fight? How many micro steps? How many shifts in weight? How many pattern changes? How many angle cuts? How many half-beat rhythm breaks? How many psychological reactions? It's thousands, and it's happening in milliseconds. The human nervous system can't consciously process that. A coach can't track it. A fighter can't track it. Even elite analysts can't track it. But AI can. AI can actually recognize a pattern long before a human sees it. A vulnerability long before a coach notices it. A shift in pressure long before a fighter feels it. A predictable rhythm long before a commentator even mentions it. AI is not replacing humans, it's revealing what humans could never see. This is not new information. This is old information that we've never been able to measure until now. Now, let's talk about the difference between how fights used to be analyzed and how AI and geometry analyze them now. So the old analysis, this is what everyone uses. Strikes landed, takedowns, control time, reach, height, stance, fighter stats, volume, output. These are results, not causes. Stats show what's happened, not why it happened. The new analysis model, what Spiral Combat uses, adaptability, torque efficiency, rhythm variance, space control, linearity exposure, pressure tolerance, cage geometry dominance, psychological pattern breaks. These are the causes of fight outcomes. In other words, traditional analysis looks at the end of the chain, AI geometry looks at the start of the chain. Traditional analysis is descriptive, AI analysis is predictive. Traditional analysis watches fights, AI understands fights. Traditional analysis tells you a story afterward, AI shows you the story before it happens. That's the difference. And that's why this new way of seeing fighting is going to redefine the entire sport. And this is where things get really fun. Let me explain the geometry layer, the layer that actually decides fights. There are 5 forces that make up the spiral geometry advantage model. Well, there's actually 6, but we'll get into the 5 here. So adaptability is number 1, your ability to adjust mid-fight. If you've ever wondered why some fighters just look smarter, this is why. Number 2, torque efficiency. How much rotational power can you generate? This explains why some fighters are freakishly powerful without muscle. Number 3, rhythm variance. How unpredictable your timing is. This is why speed is often an illusion. It's really timing. Number 4, space control. Who owns the cage? Pressure, dominance, pacing, funneling the opponent, all geometry. Number 5, linearity exposure, your predictability. This is why people get knocked out. This is the invisible killer in MMA. None of this has ever been measured before. Nobody knew how. Nobody had the framework. AI changed that. And now, because we can measure these forces, we can identify matchups where one fighter has a hidden advantage that no one else sees. This isn't superstition. This isn't guessing. This isn't hype. This is literally the underlying math of combat. So, now, let's talk about why AI will change training forever. All right, let's zoom out. What does this mean for fighters and coaches? It means training is about to change forever. Training will go from, I think you're doing this wrong, to here are the exact patterns where you're predictable. It'll go from, you need better footwork, to you need to reduce linearity by 24% in these specific situations. It'll go from, you're backing up too much, to your pressure tolerance collapses as soon as your opponent stacks angles on the left side. It'll go from, you need better timing, to your rhythm is stuck at a 1-1-2 cadence that elite fighters will read instantly. So this is going to change drilling, sparring strategies, game plans, camp preparations, style development, injury prevention, conditioning, and even fight IQ. Fighters will finally understand why they keep getting hit. Coaches will finally understand where their athlete is vulnerable. Analysts will finally understand how geometry decides matchups. We're entering the era of diagnostic martial arts, and Spiral Combat is building the foundation for it. Now, let me say something very important. AI can analyze millions of patterns. AI can identify geometry. AI can read movement, and AI can outperform human reaction. But AI cannot replace heart, replace toughness, replace creativity, replace intuition, replace experience, replace timing and chaos, replace the soul of a fighter. Humans are still the center of this. AI is not stepping into the cage. AI is stepping into the coaching, the breaking down of fights, the understanding of movement, the prediction of outcomes. AI is the lens. The fighter is the weapon. And when you combine the two, you get something we've never seen before. So, if you're still here with me, you're early. You're part of the group of people who sees what's coming before everyone else. Fighting isn't random. It's not chaotic. It's not who just wants it more. There is a real structure behind violence, a real geometry, and a real code. AI didn't create that code, it just revealed it. And we're going to explore all of it on this channel. So, if you want to understand MMA at the deepest level, not the hype, not the drama, not even the narratives, but the real mechanics behind who wins and who loses, please subscribe. Stick around. This is just the beginning. And if you want the advanced stuff, the full SGA reports, the predictions, the geometry analytics, go to spiralcombat.com. Or if you bet on UFC fights, go to spiralcombat.com/bets. Welcome to the AI era of martial arts. Welcome to Spiral Combat.